Hello everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and I am through with my STEAMPUNK journal that I had the 6-part series on how I put it all together. Actually, it's 6 parts and then the cover is the first part, but I'm just going to call it making the cover. It was done some time back, so I've got to go in and make it be part of the process of making this journal. So here it is. I'm ready to show it to you. We have here a panel on the front that I have made a frame with product packaging. I believe this was cracker boxes. Layered 4 of them together. Did 1, put the acetate, layered the other 3, put the image in the back on a piece of cardstock, and then I made this be a little shaker. So doesn't shake as much as I thought it would. It shook more before it was on the book. So I think being on the book and being more rigid, it doesn't shake as good. But it still shakes. So we have a little shaker. I have a little puffy sticker there that is a hot air balloon. This came from the Dollar Tree. The cover is made from a Reader's Digest book. Let me raise you up just a little bit more. From a Reader's Digest book. And I covered it with gold duct tape. And you can see I just did pieces so you can see the different layering. Gold duct tape, covered the whole cover with that and then painted it black and wiped off. And I saw somebody do that online with another item, and so I decided to try it for here. And then I have so this is gears that do the shaking. And I have, I believe this is a locker number off lockers like we had in high school. And it says 1906, which is about the time frame this journal would have been around. I have a dangle that is removable. It is just on a gem clip. So that is removable, and it is locks and keys with this little robot sort of character on the very end, and the rest of these are just locks and keys. I have some black ink on my finger. Where did that come from? I don't know. I mean, I just did some splattering. If you saw my video for the collage this week, I did some black splattering. I don't know what that is right there. Let's move it over a little bit. Like that. Okay, now we're a little adjusted. Okay, I have a closure that is made with, this is not leather, but it's sort of a leather looking woven strap. Just came in a roll, came from Hobby Lobby. And it is, let me show that to you because, here it is. So this is what it looks like. It's just on a roll. And so the ends are frayed if you don't do anything with it. And I did some gross grain ribbon, some black gross grain ribbon. I made a tab on the end, on each end. This is fastened in with Tim Holtz long leg brads through the cover. And then I have a hitch post here that you can just, this has little holes in it, so you can just pick a place and close this up. I have some little charms on the side here, and we'll go inside. So when you go inside, I did not, this is so thick, I mean it's a little bit alligator mouth, not bad, but a little bit. So I decided not to do any pockets in the front and back. We have here, this is a digital, I believe it's a freebie from Tracy Fox. This Ex Libris is from the original book, this original Reader's Digest book. I inked it up because it was a little bit of a pinky color and it needed to be a little more brown. I used Ephemera's Vintage Garden Gentlemen and Scholars, I believe it's called, as my digital kit. I don't always use digital kits, but for this I did, and I love this particular digital kit. And then I've used just various things. So we have here a little tiny pocket that holds a little faux stamp that's the state of Georgia, because that's where I live. We have a vintage tea card, and this is the C, and the C, our other world, is in there. Then we have another little faux stamp, and I have just tucked those right in this little pocket here. And this is a real vintage item that the pocket is, with a little bit of fabric underneath it. And this is on coffee-dyed graph paper. Just a little bit. This is also vintage right here. I have a vintage scrapbook album, which I might do a video to show you that. And some of these little strips of various different subjects the glue on it didn't hold up well. Most everything is stuck in there well. There were a few things that were not stuck in well, and this was one of them, so I included that here. This is a piece of scrapbooking paper with a tab. This is from a book of topography that I bought at Ollie's. So just a little collaging there. Here we have two other pieces of ephemera that is from the Scholar and Gentleman digital kit. And then I've used some washi tape here because this piece is a business check blank form that's the 3-part, and it's perforated. So I have the washi tape over the perforation because I was afraid it would tear. And sewing down the side here, we have a pocket here that's partially transparent and partially not, with some stamping here. And then this is a transparency I have. Let me show you that. It is actually a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that I just cut up to use in different places. And then we have some tags in here. This is a faux postcard that I made I got this out of a book. I don't remember what book, but I thought that was fun because this may have been the Industrial, I bet it was, the Industrial Revolution, British Industrial Revolution book that I used some things out of here. That may be from that, but I made it into what looks like an old postcard. This is a real postcard, and this is Generators Shasta Dam Power Plant in Shasta Dam, California. And it has, I don't know how old it is, but you can tell I did not ink this. This is its natural foxing. So it is an older one, but I thought that was sort of industrial looking. So this is steampunk-ish, industrial-ish. Steampunk is fantastical industrial. So I have a kind of a mix. That's why the little robot guy on my dangle there. This made this tag out of another Tracy Fox freebie that I put a photo on, and that's a real photo. And this is a Tim Holtz film strip, little fabric tab at the top. So those go right in here. I have a little tiny gem clip at the bottom to hold these things in and to hold those pieces on the front right here. Then this is a mechanic's manual for a Boeing 707, I think it is. A friend of mine whose husband worked on airplanes gave this to me, and coffee dyed them and thought they would fit into this journal well. And I have a tab here with stitching and just a little collaging right there. Then over here, this page is from a model airplane, not a model airplane, a paper airplane book, and every sheet in there you were to make a paper airplane from. And it had all these gears and things on it, so I thought, let me add some of those in, and I did. This ad is a true ad. It's a copy of a true ad that I have Let me get that for you if I can find it quickly to show you what that looks like, because it's very awesome. I should have had that out here for you to see, but I didn't. Oh well, I can't put my hands on it real quickly, but it is 1800s ads, late 1800s, like, you know, like 1896 or something like that. So I just made copies. I didn't want to tear up the magazine, and I have a magazine and a newspaper, and I didn't want to tear those up too. So I make copies. This is some rub-ons from the Dollar Tree that I added here. More ads from those two antique publications. Here is another Tracy Fox freebie. Love the owls. There's a couple of them in here, and this was another Tracy Fox freebie. Here I have another pocket. This is just a stamped pocket. It's just the folded up piece of paper because it was too long, so I just folded up the excess. And in here we have, I think this is from Stamperia, an 8 by 8 pad. And then I have this transparency, that's clock. I have this that is a copy out of that same 1890 something publication. So that's a vintage ad. And then I have this piece of copper paper that is embossed, and then I sanded it because it's black. The core of it is black. So I embossed and then sanded. So you have this sort of industrial looking piece here. And these just go right in this pocket. And I've used, I know Tim Holtz in his new release has some faux tape. This is my own faux tape, which I love making. It's fun to make. There's lots of videos, and I did a video on how to make this faux tape, but I love it. And this is from the British Industrial Revolutionary book, or Industrial Revolution book. I've got some little cards in here. I've had these little cards forever, and they're like the size of a playing card, but they're just these. It's got pink, yellow, blue, and green, pale colors. And so I embossed with the gears here, and that's gilding wax on top. And those are just put in this little belly band I made here. So the gilding wax, the faux tape, I haven't bought any of Tim Holtz, so I can't compare, but I am perfectly happy with what I have and what I use. I have this card here. It says this was made by me, and my shop name and my Etsy shop, and my YouTube is Tattered Paper and Lace. And I was testing out a typewriter, so I thought, you know what, it's messy and grungy, we'll just put that in. And then I have this little envelope that I made and collaged with this is Tim Holtz salvage tags, and I used some of his collage tissue, and this image, this whole image is, I'm not including that, with the man on it, is from the Ephemeris Vintage Garden Kit. This is a piece of sewing ruler tissue, which is also a very interesting thing. Let me show you that. I found this at an estate sale, and it's like pattern tissue, but it's a ruler. And so that is what you see across the top right here. I love it. It just is very cool stuff. Never seen it before. My mother was a seamstress, a quite accomplished one, but I'd never seen this tissue tape before. So that has that tag in it, and I need to put something on the top of this tag, some fabric or yarn or something. And then I also have this check from 1887. And here, this is a real vintage item. I got that at an antique store sometime back. I've had it for a while. So we have this clip that holds these things in right here. And these clips are Tim Holtz, the little tiny clips that he had for, I don't know if he still has them or not, that he had for a while. That's what those are. So that's in there. I have this. This was a coaster that I cut apart. I just wanted the burlappy part. It was a 2-layer fabric-y thing. Stitched it on, and I just have a journaling card in here, and this is scrapbooking paper, and then I added the hot air balloons to that. And this is more of the topography book page. And then stamp here, a key. That's the other side of the scrapbooking paper. And then I made this little pocket is a flip out. This image on the front, the background image, is from a wallpaper. And it's like a wallpaper of a vintage city street. And I just used a portion of it. And then I just found the Tim Holtz ladies that were the right size, proportion-wise, and added her to that, and then just did some little collaging down here. But this whole background is a border, wallpaper border. I don't have any more of it. That's all I had. I made 3 or 4 tags like this out of it, and then it just has a few pieces of ephemera. This is a real piece of ephemera, and these 2 are copies, or fake, if you will, ephemera. And that is on a paper bag, and I just have this collaged back here to keep on, and then I have a little stitching right there, and that stitching is sewing this gauge on, and that's a Tim Holtz gauge. So I just did some collaging here and then sewed around that. I added some things to this page. This is the Ephemera's Vintage Garden Digital Kit, so I added 1896 here. And I also added this label that is from Flying Tigers. A friend of mine gave those to me. Then we have the second, that's just the first one, yeah, second signature. Just love this paper. Love that. And this is another one of the paper airplane papers that was in a book. All it was a book about this thick of paper airplane papers that were all different colors. But it was all the same size, and it was about 8 by 10. No, not that big. 5 by 7 maybe. Here I have stamped on some toilet paper and inked it up a little bit, and it turned out, I used my splatter stamp on it, and it turned out real good. I have this rubber stamp. This is just a little piece of digital paper I had. This is some stitching down this paper. This is from the newspaper that some of the ads are that I used in here. This is a guy from that newspaper that I copy and cut out. Some map here. Over here, if you watched my December Ember, this 2023 December Ember projects that Louisa Heinzel and 49 Dragonflies put on, this is one of the things that I made in that December Ember, and I made it specifically because I was going to use it in this. So we have a little tuck spot here, and I have a faux feather and some, I believe it's Tim Holtz ephemera in here. Then this is scrapbooking paper. This was the feathers were scrapbooking paper. Just I cut it off the corner. And then this was some clock pieces that I have, and I used glossy accents across it and let that dry. And then this is a pocket back here. So this doesn't come out. It's just the back pocket. So this is Tim Holtz paper with some butterflies that I had, and I made that be two-sided. And then this is button I cut the shank off of, which makes the center of that butterfly, and that goes right in here. And these tuck right in here. And I have on this page, I have a charm that is a steampunk bug. It is attached to a true old rusted paper clip. It's not artificially rusted. It is old. And when you see this and you try to take it off, they made them much thicker and heavier, with much thicker and heavier metal back in that day. So you can definitely tell the difference when you take this off the page. I'm not going to do it because it's kind of hard to get back on. Then over here, I have a photo. We've got some collaging here. I have a true photo of this gentleman in front of a building. Came out of a photo album. I get all my photos usually from antique stores. A little stamping here on this tissue. Then this is a Tim Holtz ephemera piece on this topography book page. Then I have some playing cards in here. That's a Neiman Marcus playing card. And then I just have these numbered playing cards that I thought was kind of numbered as numbers and letters. Whoops, sorry, hit the camera. And I sanded them to make those look a little older and grungier. This one, I sanded it a little bit too. It's a vintage card, but I sanded it to make it look even a little older. I like that distressed look. So, and I sewed around this page all the way around. So there's quite a bit of stitching in here. This is from the Ephemeris Vintage Garden Kit. And we have another one of the Boeing 707. And this is a tab that I punched out of aluminum foil or alcohol ink colored paper. I glued aluminum foil to cardstock. I colored it with alcohol ink, and then when it was dried, I punched it out and made tabs. Then we have another pocket here, and this pocket is made out of an instant oatmeal bag. I love to make, I keep a collection of those. I love to make those pockets. They make really good pockets. And so I collage on them. And then I have in here, this is another piece of wallpaper that I made this little journaling card out of. And the identification check is a Tim Holtz stamp from the eccentric stamps, and so is the number up here. But the image is from wallpaper. So that tucks in there. And then we have just an envelope, empty envelope tucked in there. And this has, I believe this came from Hobby Lobby a long time ago, this end of a key. And I think it's Industrial Chic was the brand. They don't carry that anymore. They were really cool. I don't know why they don't carry them, but they don't. Here is some more of the aluminum foil paper that I made myself and alcohol inked with these butterflies. Made die cut it with butterflies. This is an image from a book stitched around this page all the way. Over here I have another little, this is also an envelope, but it has nothing in it, but it is collaged. It also has a little aluminum foil paper stamp, tab there. I think I did a video on how I made those, that aluminum foil. I believe I did. This is from a very old book, so I had to do this washi tape, and this is Tim Holtz washi tape all the way around because it was so fragile. Now that has made it be sturdy enough, and I loved this picture. It looked like it was a little bit steampunky, fantastical sort of something. So this is the stamp here. This is some ruffled up ribbon I've stitched to the side here. Which the stitching, I love to do stitching because it shows on both sides, so it gives some interest in both areas. With just a little collaging here. This is something else I got from an antique store. And I think they take vintage images and print them on this canvasy kind of fabric. So I just made that be a flip with stamping down here at the bottom and a little tab there. The tabs, some of these tabs came, this one in particular came from the digital kit that I used in here. Then I've got some more faux tape here, some washi and some other washi stitched across the top because I stitched on this flap. And we just have a little short page here. Got this image out of a magazine, or a catalog actually. It's a clock. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing to add. Another gauge from Tim Holtz, which I put one on each side, so it had a tab on each side. And that's the end of that signature. Then we're into the third signature. There's 5 signatures in here. And we have another true photo, vintage photo of this gentleman. I left some of the strings long. If you don't like those, you can trim those off. Stitch that tab on. This is an image from the British Industrial Revolution book. And this is true faux tape. Where is it? No, I don't know. But it's narrower. I think either I cut it in half or it is true vintage tape that I made it be a little more vintage, because the true vintage tape, if it's brown tape from back in the day, they are narrower than the tape you can buy today, or at least tape that I find. This is from the industrialization. This is the library pocket from that, and this is the library card. William Otto Henderson, Industrialization of Europe. That's what it's called. Industrialization of Europe. And it had a lot of industrial kind of photos in there. So this photo was in there, and I made this little journaling card out of this. This is stamping across the bottom, and this is the library card that I put this on. And then this is a Tim Holtz image of a cigar box top. So we tuck that in there, and I tuck this in here. And then over here, I have another stamped pocket, just a little low pocket, and it has a number of things. We have a clock front. We have a tag with a pointy finger. These are not old. This is a Tim Holtz piece. This is the Tim Holtz salvage tags, and this image is from the digital kit that I used. And then this is a tag that came from, it was like on a piece of machinery, and I found that somewhere. I may have found it in the parking lot of some place, because I do find things like that in the parking lot of different places. So those are all tucked right in here, and I just have them kind of staggered so you can kind of see. And we have the clock face in front. This is a stamp that I have of a circuit board maybe, and I stamped it on tissue and then glued it on. And then we have a little typewriter here, and over on this side I have a scrappy pad that this came from, the top of this came from a utensil envelope, and that, you know, you might get it in a restaurant. Not a bag, it was more of an envelope. I used the other part of it somewhere else. So I cut this off the top and used it to make my scrappy pad here, and it's not attached. This is, again, a true, real, true, vintage rusted paper clip. Then this is another industrialization of a Europe picture. Here is, this is actually, it's a belly band, but it actually only has 2 things in it, these 2 things. But this was made to use as a card front. It was a card kit, and I knew I wasn't going to I don't make cards very often. So I knew I wouldn't use it as a card, so I covered up with this picture and this wax seal things that didn't apply, and with this washi tape, things that didn't apply to this journal, and used it as a belly band. So I have this wax seal, which is of a compass, and I did the wax seal, and then I colored it with colored marker, and then I put this little gear in the middle. And then this is a vintage photo that I had that I tore in half, used the other half somewhere else some other time. So I put that there. Then here is a little tiny pocket. A friend of mine made this. It says, measure your journey in friends rather than miles. She made this, and I used it as a little pocket to put these little tiny true photo booth sort of photos in here. These are vintage, and this guy is Officer Owens. Officer Owens, it looks like it says, so I have that tucked in here, and then just a little piece of scrap paper tucked in there with it. And then this has a pin of like pilot wings on there. This is washi tape that I got from Temu. Little label here. Here, I just did some more of this sewing tissue tape, just in parts with a light bulb. Tim Holtz stamp, more of the Boeing 707 papers. This is a sticker from the Antiquarian sticker book. This is something I had in my scrapbooking days. It was a piece of, it's actual thin metal, and that I alcohol inked as well. Let's see that. And then over here, another pocket, and in here, these are some pages from the industrialization of Europe that are of some machineries and things of the day. I left on here where this is and what that is. But then we have this. I didn't want to cover it because it had two neat pictures on it, so I didn't want to cover it. Didn't cover that one either. And then that's just a tag. I have no idea where I got that. Then I have this little top hat. You can see right there. And it has, I don't know if you can see, but it has little gears, little tiny gears on this little top hat. And this little top hat was something laying on my desk. Don't know where it came from. But these little gears are watch parts. So those are watch parts that make up those little gears. Then I have a Tim Holtz little tiny clip here with the word think. Another topography page book, and this is a little envelope with nothing in it. Little coin envelope. I've got a little stamp here. This is from the industrialization of Europe. I added some Tim Holtz tissue here. And now we're into the fourth signature. This is a true piece of ephemera from 1946. Another paper airplane paper with more of the rub-ons of hot air balloons. Then here, this is another freebie from the ad, the Swan fountain pen ad is from my Antiquarian newspaper and magazine. But the pens, if you can see, there's pens in here. These pens are a freebie from Tracy Fox. And I backed them with cardstock, so you could write a little message on that. But I also cut their pocket clip so that I could then slide these in and clip them over the page. I like how that turned out. So there's that. And then we have some images, another piece of that copper that is embossed and then sanded. So you can put some paper on the back of that if you wish. This is from the digital kit that I'm using. And then on here, I have a lady's corset from back in the day. I think that's the back side. Here's the front side. It's got little buttons down it. Okay, and then over here, this word, elements here, is from a poster of it's the periodic table. And so I just used the word, I cut it up to use all of the parts and pieces of it. And so I used the word elements there to make this little pocket. This is a true photo, which is kind of, I guess, damaged. I don't know if it's damaged or double exposure or what happened here, but it came like that. So it's there. And then this is a coupon that is a true cigar coupon here. Then I have another, this was another I think this one was from Tracy Fox as well. I think there was 4 pins in there. But this is some more of, this little booklet is made out of more of my aluminum foil paper that I made and did the alcohol inks on. And then I just collaged on the front. Have the word steampunk on there, and that's just tucked in there. And here I have a little tuck spot. This is from the industrialization of Europe. Made it into a postcard. I did this, the splattering on there is from my splatter stamp. That helps make it look a little more grungy. Tucked in there, I made this as a, I just collaged the strip to use as belly bands, and so I have more of it. I just cut it apart when I have a belly band I want to do. This is from, I believe it's from a catalog, and I think this is like a mousetrap. If you remember the mousetrap game back in the day, I think that's the same sort of thing where you put the marble in and it tracks around, because I think this came from a catalog. This is a napkin decoupage. This sticker is from the Antiquarian sticker book. Then here I have this pocket, and this is an envelope that I've had for many years. This is, I believe, a Tim Holtz piece on top with some cheesecloth and a little piece of lace underneath. This is from the industrialization of Europe. And I have on here, this was in 1888, so I put the little 1888 as the address of the building, and it was Match Girl's strike is what this picture was, so I put it on her little Match Girl box right there that she would carry the cigarettes in. And then just a little piece of journaling paper tucked right in here. Stamping, the stationery was part of the freebie that the pins came in and the tag that I used earlier. Then I have this just a little torn flap with a pocket, and this is a Tim Holtz salvage tag. This is another pocket made from instant oatmeal package. Makes a great little pocket. This postcard is made by me, and it is wallpaper. The leaf is wallpaper. I stamped all of it. The only things that I did was I stamped Dream, I stamped the text, the dragonfly, and this flower. Everything else you see on here was this grunge and all was part of the border, wallpaper border. So, and it is a little bit textured, and I did not do that. That was part of the whole wallpaper thing. Here is some more napkin decoupage. That was just a piece I had laying around. I said, let me use it, so I used it. Then here is another one of Tracy Fox's owls. And this little frame down here is more of the aluminum foil paper that I alcohol inked. And this is an ad from wrapping paper that I found somewhere. This is the other side of that 1946 receipt. Antiquarian sticker. And here is just a little thing I had, and I just used the window to put this little guy in, and I don't know where, I think this came from, I don't know where this came from, this piece. I have no idea where that came from. It's not a Tim Holtz, but I put a eyelet in it. Stitch down here. We have another pocket here. This is the ads, the ads of the bicycle guy I cut out from when I made this copy. And it is ads for gentlemen's suits. So I just cut those and put those in here. And then this is a tag I made. I watched Sunset Crafts, and she made a tag very similar with the chain and all, with the 2 eyelets. And then this is just some scrapbooking paper I had, Tim Holtz stamp. Did the chain with the Tim Holtz number 3 here. These are just gears that came from several different places. I stitched on the tab, and I kept the strings long. So that is tucked in here. This is another image from the industrialization of Europe. I backed it with this vintage envelope. And here's another fragile piece of paper that I had to do washi tape along the edge. And I also made it sturdier by adding this ad from that same. I wish I could show that to you. It is so very, very cool. It's from 18 something. It's old, but that's a copy from that. Another of the airplane papers with another ad in there. Then I made another little scratch pad here, and this wording came from the Tracy Fox freebie. Just a little. This is made out of product packaging, and I'm going to keep this because it's just the days of the months of the year. I'm just going to keep that on the back. I'm not going to cover it up. I did cover up the writing at the bottom. This is the Tim Holtz piece. This is collaged back here with another one of those old checks from 1888. So I just used that, and then this 11 is from the topography book that I got at Ollie's, and I just have that tucked in there. And then this is a tag from somewhere, I don't know where, but this is the end that your silverware would go in here, that you get in a restaurant. It would go in this pocket right here. And this, under this collaging, it has a fork, knife, and spoon. So I had to cover that up. And it was like leopard print or something. It was kind of odd. So on this side, I have first off, I have another charm here of this clock face. And then I have two pockets, here and here. So here, these are two tags. This is some more of the aluminum foil paper that I die cut this little fence looking stuff out of. More of the sewing tissue tape, Tim Holtz tissue. And the image is from the digital kit from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Same here. And these are both on Tim Holtz salvaged tags. And those go in there. This is a true piece of ephemera. And it's just a handwritten receipt to Jesse Modes for $5.30. And James or somebody, E. Taylor, wrote this receipt. And I have that stuck right in there. This came from the topography book, and I just made it be a little flap. Another tag on Tim Holtz's salvage tags with some tissue. That's the sewing tissue. That's the Tim Holtz tissue. And this background is the image from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Another tag over here. Same thing. Inside this little pocket, which this is the pocket here, I have another industrialization of Europe. It has the hot air balloon right there. And this one doesn't have the dirigible. But we have a little hot air balloon there. I did not make that be a postcard. That is just a journaling spot. Here says the inventor. That came from the same industrialization of Europe. The hand did not. That came from a different book. This came from the industrialization of Europe book. Over here, this little tuck is from scrapbooking paper. I have another one of those, excuse me, cards that is embossed and then waxed with gilding wax. This is a little coupon from Tim Holtz. And this is a true vintage little envelope. I don't have in it what's supposed to be in it because it was a watch crystal, so it is glass, and it is also bowed. So I just took that out and put the little envelope in here. We have another tag, dimensional tag I've made here, and this is another journaling card from the industrialization of Europe photo. Tucked it in here. Collaged pocket here. Tim Holtz piece. This is textured. That is texture paste through some drywall tape that I have. And this is a postage stamp, little piece of scrapbooking paper, Tim Holtz number, wooden gears and metal gears here, fabric here at the bottom, and it's all on Tim Holtz paper. And that's tucked in here. It's got a little stapled on tag up there. All of this was white, so I needed to make it not be white. And here's some more of my faux tape. And this is Tim Holtz tissue, collage tissue, and I believe it was called Correspondence, I think. And it is all just collaged like that. The whole tissue is collaged like that. So I just put the tissue on this piece. And that is the end of my book. So I appreciate you coming along. I hope you enjoyed watching this flip through and hearing how I came up with the things that are in it. This will be in my Etsy shop for sale. So if you are interested, please let me know, and you can find it there. I will link my Etsy shop in the description box below, or to the side now. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you coming along. If you like this content and like to see more things that I do, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll get further videos from me. I appreciate all of those who come and watch my videos and make comments. I appreciate that so very much. I answer all the comments if you should choose to make one. And I'll let you go now, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.